Israel's military says it has begun an extensive ground operation in northern and southern Gaza, following international mediators' endeavour for Israel and Hamas to come to a ceasefire agreement. Gaza's health officials say over 100 people have been killed in an intense air campaign. The Israel Defence Force says Operation Gideon's Chariots is aimed at achieving the goals of war in Gaza, which includes the return of hostages. And more on that ground campaign in Israel as well. I'm joined live by journalist and Israel's international spokesperson to the United Nations, Jonathan Harounoff. Jonathan, thanks so much for joining us this morning. The body of Mohammed Sinwar, Hamas's leader in Gaza, has reportedly been found in a tunnel along with 10 of his aides. Can you confirm this for us? And if so, how important is this a military victory for Israel?
Good morning, Kenny. Great to be with you. I can't comment on that at this time. What I can comment on is what you referred to earlier about negotiations still underway in Qatar. Israel's delegation is still there, and it's sticking very closely to its original war objectives. A, to release all of the remaining hostages still held in brutal Hamas captivity, and to ensure that Hamas no longer poses a threat to Israel.
As Israel begins this major ground offensive, and if you could provide a bit more detail as to why that's happening after these airstrikes that we've been seeing, is this a sign that we are nearing the end of the Hamas?
Well, the reason for the ground offensive is in order to apply both diplomatic and military pressure to the Hamas terrorist organization. In the past, the terrorist organization hasn't responded well to just diplomatic pressure, and this is a way to ensure that the Hamas negotiating team in Doha stays at the table and works with the mediating countries, including the United States, to ensure that there is an end to this war that it started 600 days ago.
According to minutes of a high-level Hamas meeting in Gaza that Israel's military said it discovered in a tunnel beneath the enclave, the October 7 attack was designed to torpedo peace negotiations between Israel and Saudi Arabia. Does this now make sense to you? And what is your reaction to that reporting first heard in the Wall Street Journal?
It was framed as an exclusive. I saw the report you're referring to this weekend, but these were suspicions and concerns and sense that we had all along. Israel was trying to pursue a path of peace in the Middle East, try and forge these historic relations with its Arab partners, and the Iran-backed Hamas terrorist group wanted to torpedo that momentum, which it unfortunately did for that time temporarily. But that doesn't mean that we'll see an end to that. And our hope is that there is a sensible but continued expansion of the Abraham Accord so that we can continue on this path of peace.
We also had a leaked document by diplomats reportedly saying that Israel is preparing to divide Gaza into 3 tightly controlled strips of land unless Hamas accepts a ceasefire plan in a matter of days. Is this true?
I can't comment on the specific proposal that you're referring to, but what I can say is that since the inception of this horrific massacre, the deadliest massacre in Israel's history, Hamas has shown very little willingness to come to the negotiating table. It has no concern for Israeli life, and it hasn't got much concern for Gazan life, which is why we're seeing these periodic uprisings. Israel's goal is to end this war, to end Hamas, and to ensure that all 58 hostages still held in brutal captivity return home. It's what we did today at the Israeli mission to the United Nations. We marched today in what was the biggest Israel parade outside of Israel, down along Fifth Avenue, New York, alongside recently released hostages, to make these demands known to the world that we don't want war. We were thrust into this war, but we will have to end this war. And it won't end until all 58 of our brothers and sisters return home.
OK, Jonathan Harounoff, we're out of time. Thanks so much for joining us, though.
Thanks, Kenny.
Thank you.